Wow, thank you so much. This has been such an inspiring morning. And you know, sometimes when we think about all of the stuff that's going on in the world, all the problems that we face and that we're challenged by, you can feel overwhelmed by the awful. And what you guys are experiencing today, I think, is what I experience on a daily basis, which is being overwhelmed by awesome, which can be equally debilitating and equally paralyzing. Like, I know, don't bring out the tiny violins yet, but it is it can be equally paralyzing because you think there are so many problems, there are so many ways to apply your time and your energy and your skills and your resources to making change. Like, which crowdfunding campaign am I going to give my $20 to, or which cause am I going to volunteer for, or how am I going to, do I care more about biodegradability or organic stuff, or do I care more about local? It's exhausting and overwhelming. And what I want to talk to you guys about really quickly are some really practical, hands-on, easy things that you can do to take your creative skills, your passion, the knowledge that you already have and apply it today. Now, did anyone meet anyone awesome in that break earlier? Yes, right? We were standing over there, and what I realized was every single person in that group we were talking to had some incredible stories to tell. They had incredible ideas about things that they were already doing or could do, and all they needed was to work together. We had a bunch of events at Vivid Ideas yesterday, and I had an American journalist visiting, and he stopped me in the break and he said, "Do you know what's really remarkable is that I go to a lot of design events and entrepreneurship events in the US and all over the world, but I have never heard people talk about collaboration in the way that people have talked about collaboration in this room today." Every single person who got up, and it was a conference about interior design, I'll have you know. It wasn't a conference about change making. And every single person talked about how their impact was amplified, their work was enriched, their audience was expanded by the simple fact of collaborating with other people who sometimes they would have seen, or in the past they might have seen, as their competition. It's a total mindset shift that comes from the changemaker community, comes from the startup community, and has now infected, I think, the rest of the creative world. So I am going to go over time, don't tell anyone. But let's go really quickly. I'm going to show you some really simple ways of how creative people can change the world. Now, who's a designer in this room? A visual communicator. Okay, here are some ways that you guys are going to change the world. You make the invisible visible. This is some work by a Peruvian designer named Camila Bustamante. Now, Camila got really pissed off because 25 years ago, her local mayor started a campaign to build a metro in Lima. And then it just never got finished. They built 4 stations and it sat there, and there were kind of the bits of infrastructure lying there for 25 years. So she used her graphic design skills to design up the campaign for when the train would be finished, 24/27. And she also created all of the pamphlets, the documents, and that says, "For our great-grandchildren." And she actually estimated how the rollout would take place, and she adopted the language and the visual style of a state rail marketing campaign to embarrass the government into finishing their campaign. This is a project by an Iranian designer living in New York called Tatiana Faladizeh. Oh, I've been practicing all day. Anyway, she started a campaign. It's an open source campaign that's about social awareness about how women's their body autonomy is impinged upon in public space. Yeah, good luck. You know, women get told to smile. It's happened to me. It might have happened to some of you. It's not okay. It's not okay to tell other people how to comport themselves or how to present their bodies. And so she started a campaign using her skills as an illustrator and as a designer to make this campaign saying, "My name is not baby, and women are not here for your entertainment." Advertising. Anyone would want to admit to being in advertising in this Okay, brave. I like you. You guys actually have an incredible skill set and you have access to the platforms that can change the conversation. This is actually a work by an advertising agency in Russia in a town called Yekaterinburg. They had the most insane potholes and a blogger decided to hire an advertising agency to come up with a campaign to make the local government fix the potholes. So what this advertising agency did was they screen printed the mayor, the deputy mayor, and the governor's face onto the potholes. They got painted over very quickly, and then they just went back. These guys won a Cannes Lion for this campaign. I mean, doing good work that makes change gets you ahead as well. Okay, this is a campaign that's close to my heart. This is another one about how advertising people have changed the world. My mum came here from Chile in 1975 as an illegal immigrant. Yeah, Chile. As heaps illegal, stuck it out. What you gonna do? This is a campaign that happened in 1988. Advertising people had to, I mean, it was basically coming up after, you know, I think it was about 15 years of dictatorial rule. The opposition no vote to not renew Pinochet's lease on power were given 15 minutes a day, where you had 14 different factions of the opposition who had to combine in some way and use those 15 minutes. An advertising agency came up with a really interesting way of doing that. They used a song. Now we're going to hear a bit of this song now. I'm going to translate it for you as we go. We're going to hear a minute. It's the only pop song I've heard that incorporates the word dictatorship and assassination in a really catchy way. So it's saying, Chile, happiness is coming. How do you turn a no into a positive? And they did it through music and through the skills of advertising. Because say what they say. You're free to think. Because I feel like it's time to win our liberty. Enough of abuse. It's time to change. Because enough misery. I'm going to say no. Because the rainbow comes after the storm. Because I deserve my way of thinking. Because without dictatorship, happiness will come. This is my favorite guy. Oh, wait. So that guy. With the force of my voice, we're going to say no. Okay, we're going to stop there. I know, you could watch this all day, right? Oh, yeah. So, yay, Chilean advertising. All right. So, we can apply the skills that we have. We're not trivializing difficult issues when we adopt the tools that the man has employed to sell us stuff. Now, techies. Have I got any techies in the house? Yeah. You guys are actually providing the tools that can help us build better societies. This is another Latin American project called Datea, which is a platform to help people become information points for making social change and measuring the things that are going on in their communities. This is a Russian project, which is called, I think the translation is blah, blah, blah. And people basically, it's a place where you can complain about things. Which is, I mean, isn't that what the internet is for? But essentially, and this is the translation, auto service refuses to return money for repairs done in bad faith. What can be done? So it's basically about providing a platform where you have a lot of corruption in a community. You want to have this impartial place where people can actually make their voices heard. This is the Games for Change Festival. I'm moving quickly. Comic artists and illustrators. We're having such a renaissance of political cartooning. It's so exciting. This is a work by a woman named Susie Cagle in the US. She's talking about the incredible income inequality in places like Silicon Valley and in San Francisco and how that's having an impact on the broader population. This is a legend from Sydney called Sam Warman. Has everyone seen his work? Go and look it up immediately after this because this guy's work is amazing. He did an amazing series for the Global Mail about detention facilities. Amazing stuff. So what is actually stopping you right now from going out and using the skills you already have to make change? Is it time? Is it money? Is it support networks? Guess what? Creative people are really excellent at getting around those things. We do it every single day. There are people in this room who can help you. And this is a list of things I'm angry and annoyed about or think that you can change. It took me 5 minutes on a Thursday. You guys can do it too. I met my hero last night, a woman named Jess Scully, who's the co-founder of Kiva. And her very first piece of advice was be annoyed. Stay annoyed. Find things that you're unhappy about, and it turns out other people are unhappy about it too. Find things that you feel could make a better world. Other people are going to be there and they're going to get behind you, and use the skills you already have, and let's totally save the world, okay? Thanks.
People will leave today with a really good toolkit of actions to save the world.
People just taking matters into their own hands.
We really do have the power
to empower people to, I guess, feel comfortable in their lives.
Connect that passion and talent I have.
Don't just do one thing, do 100 things.